10 biggest engines you won't believe. The engines that drive more and more of the machines that serve us are becoming more and more powerful, so much so that they are sometimes much bigger than the very machine they drive. Stay with us to the end, and you'll be amazed at the top spots. 10. Motoris Patello. One of the great things about the world of motor racing, and in particular its fans, is that they never cease to surprise us. It is often thanks to the efforts of these skilled enthusiasts that the rest of us learn many things and be surprised. For example, we are talking about large and powerful engines, and we start with the smallest of engines, which does not lack any detail to be functional. This is the case of the creations of Jose Manuel Barreto, known as Patello, who surprises us from time to time with his wonders. But what does Patello do that leaves us so amazed? Well, he builds miniature engines that work with compressed air, simulating the way a 1x1 scale internal combustion engine would work. His latest masterpiece is a W18 that works with direct injection of a compressed air, using no less than 500 parts and exactly 388 bolts. This work has taken Patello around 2,000 hours to complete. 9. Chainsaw motorcycle. The Dolmeti is the world's first chainsaw-powered motorbike, powered by 24 Dolmar chainsaw engines and using a Harley-Davidson 5-speed transmission to produce 5.2 kilowatts of power, 7.1 horsepower at 10,000 RPM. It can reach the speed of 125 kilowatts when all 24 engines are linked. These engines are air-cooled and belt-driven. According to the German engineers who created it, the asymmetrical combustion chamber and crankcase configuration make for highly efficient combustion and very low emission rates. The chassis center beam is 2.495 millimeters in dimension and is constructed from 32 millimeter tubing. It has a 240/40 by 18 rear tire and a 120/90 by 18 front tire, which is also escorted by a superb telescopic fork from the French company Techno Plus. 8. R3600, power of 150 horses. The Rotec R3600 is a 9-cylinder radial engine built by Rotec Aerosport Pty Ltd in Australia. Initially launched in 2005, it was a follow-on to the 7-cylinder Rotec R2800 launched 5 years earlier. Both this engine and its smaller cousin have often been used as replacement engines for vintage World War I and reproduction aircraft at the same era. Some notable aircraft in which they have used this engine are the Fokker, Triplane, Sopwith Camel, and Nieuwpoort 17. Note that these engines are not just limited to aircraft application. JRL Cycles have converted a R3600 for a motorbike. 7. The Space Shuttle SRB Fuel. These solid rocket boosters, SRBs, operate in parallel with the main engines for the first 2 minutes of flight to provide the additional thrust needed for the orbiter to escape the gravitational pull of the Earth. At an altitude of approximately 45 kilometers, 24 nautical miles, the booster separates from the orbiter external tank, descend on parachutes, and land in the Atlantic Ocean. They are recovered by ships, returned to land, and refurbished for reuse. The boosters also help guide the entire vehicle during initial ascent. Thrust of both boosters is equal to 5,300,000 pounds. Besides the solid rocket motor, the booster contains the structural thrust vector control, separation recovery, and electrical and instrumentation subsystems. The solid rocket motor is the largest solid propellant motor ever developed for space flight and the first built to be used on a manned craft. 6. The world's largest jet engine. The world of aviation is always in evolution mode. Sometimes a new design is tested, while at other times new aircraft material appears. Now, General Electric is testing what they plan to be the world's largest commercial jet engine. At Wind Tunnel Test Facility near Boeing Field, General Electric Company engineers are hard at work, measuring the smallest performance details of a 1/6 scale version of this super engine called the GE9X. The plan is that this innovation will power the Boeing 777X and offer 10% more fuel efficiency than the current 777 engine. Now the latest GE9X engine being manufactured as a fan diameter that is about a foot longer than the previous version. 5. BMW Brutus. Brutus is an experimental car that gives a unique show just by starting the engine. Brutus. I've never seen another car that fits this name so perfectly. The reasons are simple: a 46-liter V12 engine, BMW origin 1925, taken from a bomber of the First World War, and almost 500 horsepower at about 1500 RPM. Large image, the engine alone is 1.8 meters long and 1.1 meters high. Since there was nothing to do with the engine, as Germany was in the process of total disarmament, some crazy Germans at BMW took the chassis or frame from a 1908 American La France to assemble this brutality. Its consumption is around 12 liters per kilometer, and its pollution figures are like that of 300 compact cars running at the same time. Top Gear has well illustrated the scandal it produces when running, something worth seeing. 4. Blitzen Benz. A record since the early days of motoring. 6. Blitzen Benz were built by Benz & C, the company founded by Carl Benz in 1883. Carl Benz was against the project, not seeing the relevance of building a land speed record car when his company was making ordinary road cars, but a member of the Benz & C board, Julius Nas, believed it could do publicity wonders, so he set out to build a car that would be faster than contemporary trains and airplanes. Based on the 1908 Benz 150 horsepower racer, the 4-cylinder engine was bored from 15.1 liters to 25.5 liters, increasing power output to 200 horsepower at 1600 RPM. No Mercedes-Benz record attempt or race car had a bigger engine before, or has it had a bigger engine since. 3. Detroit V24, 71 diesel engine, 3424 horsepower. Mike Hara is an amazing guy who has done a lot of wonderful things. But what I might think be the best thing he's done so far is to create Big Mike. This beast is a Detroit diesel V2471 with 12 BDS fans, 36 butterflies, and 24 cylinders thanks to the 2 Detroit diesel V12 engines matted with splinted cranks. Big Mike dynos at 3424 horsepower. And I'm guessing at least 5,000 pound-feet of torque, that's over 8 times more power than a typical truck generates. So now it's installed in an Allison transmission inside a custom Peterbilt 359 truck with a giant 40-foot long custom chassis to hold it all together. 2. 48-cylinder Kawasaki motorcycle. Designed by motorcycling madman Simon Whitlock, they built the bike from a series of 48 engines taken from Kawasaki S1 KH250 triple motorcycles. They have joined each 88 cubic capacity cylinder from the original bike to form 6 banks of 8 blocks each, with each inline 8 running as its own complete engine, with its own crankshaft, linked with gears. It uses 6 Jaguar E-type distributors, a BMW transmission, and a 75 cubic capacity underseat pony engine to get everything going. Can you imagine getting your 3-wheeled scooter up next to this thing? You'll probably feel so low, you'll want to hide under a rock for the rest of your life. 1. Wartsila RT Flex 96C. It is 26 meters long and has the height of a 4-story building. It is the Wartsila RT Flex 96C, considered the world's largest and most powerful diesel engine. As you might expect, it is not an engine for cars, but geared to the merchant marine. These are its impressive figures, with a maximum torque of 7.6 million Newton meters. This is an actual beast. Initially launched in 2003, they renewed it in 2007 to add up to 14 cylinders with a total power of 84,420 kilowatts, or 114,780 horsepower. More than 100 times more powerful than the engine of the Hummer EV, this gigantic engine weighs 2,300 tons. And what kind of vehicle could need so much power? The Emma Marsk, then the world's largest merchant ship. Well, we said these incredible engines would amaze you, didn't we? Tell us your impressions in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell. We upload material often. See you next time.